Hello, Iron Fist fans, and welcome back to the AFTERBUZZ TV Iron Fist After Show. We are taking care of episodes 11 and 12, Lead Horse Back to Stable and Bar the Big Boss, and we will see you after the opening.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
So I think we've graduated from hipster autocorrect poetry to hipster slam poetry.
I think so.
At this point, because these make a little more sense, but they're also still kind of like...
A little bit, yeah.
All right. Welcome back to the Iron Fist After Show, you guys. We are on AFTERBUZZ TV. We are looking at episodes 11 and 12, Lead Horse Back to Stable and Bar the Big Boss. We are so close to the ending, you guys. So close. With me tonight is Mike Kalinowski.
Hi guys, ladies, how are we this evening?
Hi, good, how are you?
Hello everyone, I'm doing good. Good to be here. Two down
One
tonight
more.
and then one more.
Yeah. Where can the people find you?
Find me at Mike Kalinowski. Pretty simple.
Joelle Monique.
Hey guys, I'm Joelle Monique. You can find me all over the internet at Joelle Monique and every week at blackgirlnerds.com.
Lacretia Lyon.
Hey guys, since I'm Lacretia Lyon, you can always find me at LACRETIALYON anywhere on the internet since there is only one.
And I'm Katie Cullen. You can find me all over the social medias at Kiaxet. That is KIAXET. We have a Twitter hashtag for the show. It's ABTV Iron Fist. We're also pulling up the live chat in just a moment. So if you have something fun to say about these, if you want to have any comments, if you have any bad puns, because we could always use bad hand puns, let's be real.
We do
Throw
love
them in
the
the
hand
hashtag,
puns.
throw them in the live chat. You may well get a shout out. So we're close to the end.
Yep.
And we've killed some people. What do you think of these episodes?
Yay, death.
Yay, death. Yeah, okay, that's a good way to do it. What do you think?
You know, it to me has kind of hit its stride in a lot of this. I like that, Colleen quickly got out of the cold. I wish that it had happened a little bit better for her because I didn't like that turn with her character. But I will say the little Tai Chi scene with them at the end was pretty adorbs.
It had the most hilariously incongruous music.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was the music. It's,
Yeah, because it
weird
didn't fit
music.
at all.
Yeah,
And it was
It's
super
an
awkward.
amazing song by Anderson .Paak. It is wonderful. And I was pissed that they decided to use it here. I'm like, you have the rights to this, and you're using it here? Like, this does not feel like calm morning Tai Chi music.
Nah,
like,
it's-
come on.
This is, we keep going back to Arrow.
Yeah.
But the world's worst sex scene is Arrow Season 1 because they play Imagine Dragons Radioactive over it.
Like, that is not
Like-
a sexy song.
No! And so for me, that's like, that is the worst music to scene I have ever seen. This is the second worst.
Yes.
Because this is just like, what the hell?
And it, like, I'm one of those people that is so bad, it's funny to me, so I enjoyed it, but it, yeah.
not their intent, I don't think.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I
feel
don't think it
like,
was.
Honestly, if we hadn't had the last 5 minutes and we'd chosen different music for that, I feel like we could have just wound down to the end of the season there. Like, if this had been our final scene of them doing the kata together and just kind of mellowing out, if there had been a different song choice, I would have fully bought, okay, this is the end of the series, we're good here. Like, I would have been down with that. I know most Marvel series don't end that way, but that to me seemed like an ending point. We had this incongruous music, and then we had, the last scene of get out now!
Yeah, I thought it was very odd that they just didn't end it there. And then I like that Ward was warning him, but at the same time, it's just, there's more to this before the Defenders
Right. It's
here.
kinda like,
We do
what
need
else
this-
we got now?
We do need to set up for the Defenders, though, because we know Gao and the Hand are going to be the villain for the Defenders, so I think we need to bring them back in. I think we're wandering into predictions territory already. It's great. Yeah, I think we need to see what happened to the complex now that Bakuto is gone, and I think we need to make Madame Gao a player in the Hand again. Yeah, good times and great oldies. So that's the end of these two
yeah.
episodes. It's been a good after show, you guys. If you want to...
Follow us on Twitter, eh?
Yeah, no kidding. So I really want to talk about Davos.
Okay,
I mean, I
yeah.
know Danny is the point of these two episodes,
Yeah.
but I just really want to talk about Davos.
Did anyone else want to explore this story through Davos' perspective?
Yes.
He is way cooler.
He is. Go ahead.
I don't know if casting wise I like him, but it just doesn't. It's so far off from what I would picture. I don't know if that makes any sense of what he was in the comics. I don't know if Kunlun is more of a multi-mix ethnicity. Does that make any sense? 'Cause
It
I don't know
definitely
if-
seems what
he
they're
seems-
going for.
yeah,
Because in the
it
comics,
seems
it's not. In the
it's
comics,
very- it's Asian.
Yeah,
It's Asian inspired.
it's a mix of different Asian cultures,
Yeah.
to be honest. And then Danny shows up and he's a white boy, and so he's the outsider.
The outsider.
But that's definitely not the case, at least from what we've been shown
I
so
don't know
far
if the
in the
actor's. Yeah, I don't know if the
universe.
actor that plays Davos what his nationality is, but he doesn't seem Asian to me. I could be completely wrong, but he seems
There's
like
a lot
there's
of
a
different
mix.
flavors of
He is a
Asian.
very exotic looking man, and I think Kunlun. I think that was their idea. Is they wanted it to be just this multi-ethnic, hot melting pot of people. So it does throw me off a little bit. I mean, he's a very strong actor. It shows the weakness of what else when he's around other people.
You're talking to someone who wanted an Asian American Iron Fist. So
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, that-
it was.
that's been my flag in the
I
ground
enjoy
from
the
the
guy
beginning.
though. I enjoy anytime he's on screen though. So
Oh, he's glorious.
yeah.
And I feel like for these 2-3 episodes that we've had him, he's been a very good counterpoint to Danny.
Yes,
because he's presumably born and raised in Kunlun and
Yeah.
knows the traditions. And we get that one little scene in Kunlun of Danny guarding the pass and Davos being like, you know what your entire life is gonna be. It's this whole thing. Isn't that great? And Danny being like, oh.
I love the scene with him and Claire where he's like,
Yeah.
she's talking about dragons, and he's like, well, what's wrong with that? You don't believe, you don't believe in that? There's dragons. I've seen them. Basically, how could you not believe that there's dragons? I thought that was great.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
and
why they
her-
should do my show from last week, Keeping It Real with Davos and Claire.
Well, and her also
That'd be so
researching energy healing and Reiki because
Yeah.
it's seen as a soft practice, but she literally just witnessed it happen. And hey, weirder things have happened. She lends Luke's shirt to Danny, and I just about lost it.
That's who it was. Okay.
It does
I-
not
yeah,
hold
it
in
was-
that shirt.
I
That's
wasn't
Luke
sure. I was
Cage.
like, why she get that? And then that
Did anyone else feel that shirt
out.
needed to be like 4 times larger on
Yes.
his body?
Yes.
Though I
Yes.
was like,
Yes.
is that Luke's shirt though? Are you hanging out with other people getting shot?
I'm not one to
Question.
body
Yeah.
shame anyone, but man, that guy. There's some scenes of him with his shirt off. I was like, you are skinny, dude.
He is skinny.
You are a thin man.
I
has
feel
a Jared
like
I know we
Lane
talked
physique.
about that early on, like you should have put on some weight, but just sitting there, that one scene, I was like, wow, just over. And I'm not skinny shaming anyone, but man, I was like, holy
But he has the body
jeez.
of a 14-year-old boy.
he's a wiry
my
little
little
man.
brother.
You could say, yeah, a woman saying it as opposed to a man, so I'm not, bashing on him, but yeah, it
Well, and
was interesting.
I feel
but
like
it should have draped him. It should have been
Yes.
I
who
feel
wore
like
this thing?
I feel like they probably put him in that shirt,
Uh-huh.
and then it was like, okay, this looks really bad on
That would've
film.
been
Like
funny.
we're
That'd be
beyond where the
great.
joke is, and now it just looks sloppy.
Okay, all
I
right.
think it would have made the joke though.
I think- yeah.
Like,
And
and
he just-
especially when they meet later, like their relationship
Yes.
is such an important, like their size difference and all these other things, and they should be a comedy duo.
Seeing
I need it to start with "I wore your shirt once."
Exactly, and that's what
Yes.
I'm saying. And it would have been great to see him be like, "Who do you date a giant? What's happening inside
like,
of this
just
shirt?"
hold
I
it,
did just
go,
love the
Yeah.
Who
putting.
wore this thing?
But
Like,
this
have it-
this show does not like comedy.
Now, how do you feel? 'Cause
avoids
I'm
it at
worried.
all
The show doesn't
costs.
like anything.
I'm very worried about when him and Luke meet because of their dynamic and how great it. And I know this is not the comics, but their dynamic of being the kind of off kilter, kind of crazy party guy, and then Luke Cage who's the stoic, and now they're both this stoic. It's like, what are we gonna get here?
Yeah.
hoping
And,
we'll get it.
Jessica's not the most jovial person, and neither's
no.
Matt. So it's kind of like,
Who's the
Where's gonna
comic
be the
relief
fun in
here?
this?
Yeah.
I have a feeling that for the defenders, Luke Cage will be more the heart of the team as opposed to
Okay.
Danny,
Yeah.
who usually
Which
is the
is-
heart of the team.
yeah, okay.
He'll definitely need to find a new perspective. Hopefully, the writers were kind enough to write one in where he's maybe evolving into a slightly different person. Because you're right, there's a lot of sameness on the team
Yes.
right now.
Yeah, and I mean, as long as we keep Claire in there, because
Yes.
Claire is the heart of
Now-
everyone
Yeah,
right
they
now,
have
and
to.
she has a
Yeah.
good sense of humor and zero nonsense and zero putting up with any of this noise.
Yeah, 'cause
And
we-
also introducing Davos to the concept of pizza.
So
That
good.
was just one of my. We got the fish out of water stuff that I have wanted for ages in this show with Davos. What's pizza? What do you mean dragons aren't real? Well, you said the internet was super helpful, and it turns out it is. I'm like, how did Danny know about the internet? It wasn't a thing 15 years ago. Okay, whatever.
Well,
Fine.
maybe Kunlun has, Wi-Fi.
It's not. I'm thinking of Doctor Strange, and I can't remember the name of the place, but here's the Wi-Fi password. We're not barbarians.
Yeah.
Shangri-La.
Thank you.
Yeah, and to me, it's just like the Danny, Luke, and just the whole Defenders dynamic. It's not going to be heroes for hire. It's going to be emos for hire. I mean, we don't have
Yeah.
any little fun guy in there.
Well, and you
Aw.
we're gonna have a different writing team from Iron Fist to Defenders. So hopefully they will be able to take all 4 of these characters and click them together in a way that works.
Yeah.
And hopefully
yeah.
we can kind of lighten things a little bit, because I know Netflix series are usually, they're very dramatic and they're very this. But I'm like, we still need a few moments where we can just sit there and laugh like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Davos and pizza. Again, lost it.
Yeah, 10101011001100000810. I hope I said your name
Wow.
correctly.
You are now A10.
Wow.
Yeah,
Amazing.
They said they might be trying to use these sidekicks for the comic relief, like Davos and Claire and stuff. But
I don't
said
consider
they
them
should.
sidekicks. I
Yeah.
consider them more interesting characters.
Oh, for sure. And
Yeah.
Ward. I love Ward.
God bless
Yeah.
Ward. You know, let's segue into that. We'll come back
Okay.
to Davos because he fills in a lot of this episode and a lot of the later part of the second episode. But let's talk about Ward.
Oh, baby.
Let's
Ward.
talk about how badly Ward has been hosed by all of this. And let's talk about that. You no longer have withdrawal symptoms. You're fixed, miracle drug.
Yeah.
Magic science that happens once and never comes back? Question mark?
I mean, maybe they're saving it for the Defenders. It's going to be my answer for everything.
I-
Hopefully this comes back. I mean, and that's kind of one of the great things about doing multi-platform storytelling is that you can fill in gaps later. If Clone Wars taught us anything, you can make a terrible property good by filling in the plot holes in a show later.
This is true.
Maybe it'll happen and it'll all make sense later. But
We're putting a lot on the Defenders because of the
and
missteps
it's
of
only
this show.
8 episodes,
True.
so I don't know about I don't know. It's
hopefully it'll be a tight, really well told
I
8
don't
episode
know. And it is the
So
same
we'll see.
showrunner. This from Iron Fist is the showrunner of Defenders, so that's going for it. So we'll see.
God bless America.
The Ward stuff, I just
Ward-
don't get into it. This is, if I know I can pause it, but that's when I get up to run and get a drink in the kitchen or something. Whenever like a Ward or
You don't like Baby Ward?
Meacham scene and that stuff comes up, I'm just kind of like,
your
okay.
pizza
Oh, I do
rolls
that
moment.
whenever it looks like a fight scene's going to start.
I love Ward.
Put my
enough, fair
popcorn on to
enough.
pop. There's not going to be any
Fair
dialogue.
enough.
I got 2 minutes to pop my popcorn.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
I like Ward, even though, first of all, like the classic '80s douche makes such a great villain, and he played so hard into that coming in. And I honestly didn't expect, like, it was a little on the nose, but it was one of the things that was fun for me in the beginning to see the transition to now, where now you have a Ward who is actually kind of new, maybe one of the most nuanced characters on the show. He's juggling the most. Like, I found myself way more involved in his story than I even do Danny's story.
Yeah, that's how I've been from the beginning because I love Tom Pelphrey. I mean, he's a soap actor, so of course I'm gonna be biased.
Did he play a serial killer, Lucretia, at one point?
Not that I'm aware of.
I'm gonna find it for
Oh
you.
wait, he was on SVU, but I don't think he did it. Yeah.
Well, he's had, I think, one of the best character arcs in this series. And he's a cool motive, still murder kind of character. Like, he's still doing awful things, but now you've gotten a look at him and you've gotten a look inside his psyche and you've seen what he's been dealing with for all of his life. And the fact that he thought his dad's death would mean his freedom twice. And it hasn't happened.
Right.
is...
Poor Baby Ward.
And here's this guy from the hand coming up to him and saying, look, we know you're involved. Look, we know that there's this. I am offering you a way out. I am offering you a way to permanently kill your dad and for us to work together in Rand. I am offering you a way. I'm making your life so much better, and we're going to get you out of this mental hospital that your dad put you in, which I think was a mistake on Harold's part. I mean, that problem is obviously not gone forever because people get out of this hospital.
But Ward's got
Whether or
cameras
not they have the
everywhere.
Iron Fist.
Ward's got cameras everywhere. So, or I'm sorry, Meek's got characters everywhere, so he'll be fine. Oh man, I really enjoy watching Ward try to come to terms with the fact that he's going to attack his father. Like this idea of finally turning his back. I'm kind of surprised Ward is as like cool as he is after all the things that he's been through. But a person who controlled my life that much, I probably would have like pushed them off a building or jumped off a building myself. That's just it's so confining. But it kind of sucks that he pushed his sister away in the process.
I think he's had his moment of just complete passion and rage and everything coming to a head, and that's when he killed his dad the first time around. I think now he's just done. Just anything I can do to get me out of here, I'm going to do it. And Bakudo comes in with this offer on a golden platter saying, hey, I'll solve all your problems and we'll work together as business partners and we'll be partners. I won't sit on high and tell you what to do. We'll work together. And then, of course, Bakuto is every bit as bad as his dad, just in a different flavor. No, you don't get to leave. Also, I'm going to shoot your sister. And your life is on the line as well if Daddy doesn't show up. Oh, well.
Always get it
Holy
in
hell.
ink. Get lawyers, sit them down, drop your contracts. People, word doesn't mean anything.
Not that Bakuto cares about contracts. No.
I
Let's
like
be
what
real.
Havoc 6280 says in the chat. Danny and Ward are mirror images. Both lived in the shadows of their dead daddies.
That's a really
Yeah, that
good
does kind
point.
of bring it back around. Yeah.
That was very insightful. Thank you for that.
Well,
But yeah, so Ward's life sucks. And I
Yeah.
think what's really telling about the entire Meacham family as it stands are Harold's last words when he thinks he's about to be beheaded. Do you have any last words? Yeah, Ward, I put everything I could into you and I tried to make you a good person and you are a complete disappointment and the biggest regret of my life. Joy, I love you very much. Don't ever trust your brother. All right, I'm good. Like, holy
nice family
cow.
moment here.
Yeah.
The very last thing that you do on this earth, and you know that this time there's no coming back, and it's to completely destroy your son and to destroy any relationship that your children might have had. Wow. If we have any questions about whether Harold Meacham is a fallen
I find it, I don't know. Like, poor Joy. Like, at this point,
Yeah.
like, you got your father back only to discover that he's a crazy person. Then your brother kills him, so that's pretty awful. And now to have to question for forever, not just your brother and whether he's got your best interest at heart, but also herself. Like, Joy did a lot of shady ass things in the name of her brother, in the name of her father, in the name of the company.
Yeah.
So I think that she'll be struggling. I mean, I kind of hope we see her struggle with, like, am I a good person and am I doing the right thing?
Well, and Joy also did her best not to get anyone killed, and that was part of the did you order the killing of this person? And so when you say you're going to take Bakuto down, you mean we're going to get him arrested, right? No, we're murdering him. No.
We should kill Bakuto. Bakuto should die, Joy.
Yeah.
It's okay.
But she
That
doesn't
is a
know that.
bad
Right,
guy.
yeah.
She just knows that a lot of people are starting to die around the company. It's like, can we maybe not? She's willing to go for blackmail. She's not willing to go for murder. Like,
Yeah, she
there
has
is
a
a
line.
line in the
Just
sand.
drug him
Yeah.
and put him back in the mental hospital, Joy. It's cool. You got that moved down.
Yeah, that mental hospital gets so many referrals from the Meachams. They named a wing after him. Yeah.
I'm the hand still, like, all their involvement with Bakuto.
That's not going to dissolve. I'm betting
know,
that
but he
Gao is
just-
going to move
Right.
in and dance.
He just,
puppet
and I don't know if
dance.
it's because the way that they cast it, because of the two separate factions of the hand. I just, something just doesn't seem right with me with Bakuto. I don't know.
Like what?
I remember like Nobu. He fit like this whole motif when I think of the hand. Like, they don't look. His version of their hand, it's lost its threat to me. But they're either training all these students. It's like,
It's a little too UC Berkeley.
yeah, it's kind of like not to use the Ninja Turtles reference of the foot, but it's like that where they were stealing street kids off the street and teaching them how to be ninjas. It's like she got all these kids that or whatever. He looks not like he can take care of himself. We've seen he can, but like I remember like Nobu and the hand. There was such a threat with them and Gao. Anytime they showed up, and I don't know if that was the whole point of the show. We wanted to do Splinter Off and to show that they blended in better to society. I don't know. It's weird to me. And again, it's one of the things with the show that just has not resonated with me. Like the hand is should be this massive force, that you're terrified of, and Bakuto shows up walking in like, some guy down the street. Like,
And we've spent this time. One of them is a splinter group. We don't know if it's Gao's
Right,
or
yeah.
Bakuto's. We have absolutely no idea. He has honestly blended in very well, bringing in people who have been trained, who were off the streets, who didn't have anything better.
Yeah.
That is how you get very devoted followers into your cult. Is
Yeah.
you give them the things that they either never had or no longer had. So it's a sound business strategy in terms of I'm going to rule the world someday.
right.
But you're right. It doesn't seem like the menacing everyone's ninjas things.
It almost seemed
But
like
I feel like we blend into real life. There's a hand doctor at the hospital. There's many hand
right.
doctors
See,
at the
that
hospital.
stuff was great. I wonder if
There's hand lawyers. There's
maybe
hand. It's a very smart, modern approach.
Have you? I mean, I don't. Not that I remember it in the show, but there was never this. You are the old school version of the hand. We are new. This is like you see these in movies and TV shows a lot where they like your way. You're the old people. You don't work. We have to do it this way now and adapt to modern times. Your old ways and tradition. It doesn't work. But they've never done like that where it's like Bakuto would be like the new hand.
The new hand and the old
But it
hand.
just seemed like. That would have been, our way works. Look at what we've done. We've infiltrated everything. You guys stick out. With your ninjas and your robes and your traditions. It doesn't work. And
We never had a confrontation between Bakuto and Gao.
again, there you go.
We had them talking at each other through
Right.
Danny and
Yeah.
talking to Danny about each other, but we never really had any direct
Yeah.
conversation between the two of them. So we have, he's hand. Well, she's hand too, but she is the splinter group. No, he's the splinter group.
Yeah,
we
it's-
never really had you're a traditionalist, you're not going to survive in this world. Excuse you, have you seen the people under my thumb and the sheer amount of capital that I can move?
Right.
Like,
It's a
we
missed
never
opportunity,
really
I
saw
feel.
that.
I also feel like it's a fault of not having a clear villain. Bakuto should have been our villain.
We did. We don't know.
No,
Do we? It's
no,
like we
the
don't.
me- with
Gao
like the
was
me-
our villain, and then she backseated, and then Bakuto was our villain, and he's dead? Question mark.
Right.
And a lot
And
of the
we
times
know
the
it's going to be
Meachums
Gao.
are in positions of the villain, but we kind of like them and we get to know them, and they become kind of tragic and not like in the way like Breaking Bad had really great villains that you could care about, but they're still very clear like that person is evil.
Cool motive, still murder.
Exactly. There's no sense of that throughout the show, and I think it's a hugely missed opportunity. Like, I think we could have done all of the Meachum stuff just with a little less, and have Bakuto in the front with Colleen Wing, episode like 2 or 3, easy, where he's like, "Oh no, we need you to come back to the fold," and so now she's not there to help Danny, and so then Danny's got like, "What are you doing? This is the hand. Why are you with the hand? What is going on?" I feel like that would have been a much more interesting storyline throughout the series.
That would have required us to have development within the first 6 episodes.
What? And why would you need that?
I know, right? It's only half the series.
Yeah.
I'm not bitter. So, yeah, we have, good Lord, we have the Meachums falling apart as a family. We do manage to get Joy to the hospital, and we have this nice little, oh, where are you staying? Oh, were you back at the dojo? Oh, okay. And just this really, I loved these horribly awkward scenes between Ward and Harold sitting there in the hospital waiting room, because
Yeah.
Harold is obviously still out of his mind and very much just straight up told his son, "You're an awful human being, you are a mistake, I regret everything about you, and now I'm going to tank whatever relationship you still had with your sister." And now he has to live, they both have to live with the consequences of those words.
Yeah.
If they're last words, you can usually say them consequence free because you're not going to be around. Oh, no, they're both around. And these super awkward hospital moments are just the best.
They resonate.
Yeah, I agree. The show, I apologize. The show is so frustrating to me. It is so frustrating.
Oh, yeah.
I know
Oh,
we've
yeah.
talked about it ad nauseum. It's just like, I want to like it. I do. I want to like these characters, but I'm just kind of, even Colleen, who, for those first 4 or 5 episodes, like, oh, this is, the show should,
Yes.
now we're like, I don't like her.
Well,
As soon as
She's
she falls
lost her
for
charm.
Danny.
She's lost her. But again, for her character, it's a great arc. But for us as audience
Not
members,
really.
we had someone to cheer for. We really didn't have anyone to get behind on this show. And for a while, it was her. I was like, okay, thank God for Claire. Thank God for Rosario Dawson on this show.
Yeah,
Because
she really
anytime
grew
she
these
pops
last
up, it just elevates the whole material.
Agreed.
Well, let's talk about Colleen a little bit, because yeah, they did do her a disservice the second they said she's in love with Danny and also she's hand, and we're going to introduce both of those concepts in this same episode, and now that's her arc. Go. And
Yeah.
it took away a lot of the fighting in the ring and what that meant to her. And
Yeah,
it
that stuff.
changed what having her students there and what they meant to her meant. And it also took away a little bit from, she's running a dojo, she's on a shoestring budget, she's doing the best that she can, when she has UC Berkeley at her back,
But
that
that's
could
what I'm
always
saying.
toss her rent if
Right
anything
there.
happens.
That should have been. Her students are getting training. But where are you guys going? What happened? And find out that her students are being trained at this new place. She's like, and finds out that that's the hand. Her students. It's like that could have been such a great dynamic between her and her students.
Doesn't
it's like,
Colleen know she's part of the hand?
She does.
Yeah. Now
But
she
if
does,
we
it didn't matter.
removed the she's part of a hand and it
Right,
was, oh,
she
well, you
wasn't
got
part
an
of that.
I
internship
see.
at
I was like,
company,
wait, did I
Yeah.
completely...
or if she's
you're not
partnered
showing up
with this
anymore. What
company.
happened? You guys were here all the time. What's going on? It's like, oh, well, we got other stuff going on, and she has to spy on them and finds out they're part of the hand, and then
I like that much
goes
better than the
undercover,
fighting ring. Or if the fighting ring was run by the hand, and that was like, and they were recruiting
Oh,
people
yeah,
from
there you
there.
go, yeah.
Like, I like, yes. Yes.
It feels
rewrites
like
would have helped.
someone picked up the show in episode 6 and took it in a different direction.
Maybe. Who knows?
And this tends to
very
be
different.
To be fair, this tends to be a habit of the Marvel Netflix shows. You get the first 6 episodes, which have like a very serious kind of directional flow, whether it's Jessica Jones and drinking and trying to become human again, or Luke Cage trying to disappear within this community but also uplift it at the same time. And then in the second half, Luke is a redemption story. In the second half, Jessica is facing her fears as opposed from hiding from them. So I think that's kind of standard of Marvel. The problem is they didn't go in a new direction that was dynamically juxtaposed to the first half, and so it doesn't resonate as
Yeah, we never got it.
yeah,
Sure.
as his next step. Like the back 6 episodes are always like the hero's next journey.
Yeah.
Is his next part, and we never get that.
Yeah, and we also nuke one of our best female characters in the show with that, and we also kind of took Joy off the board.
She was gone for a while.
You're now a pawn of your father, and now you're getting
Yeah.
shot to cause other people pain. We went
Yeah.
from putting her in a position of power to being the damsel in distress.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, Claire is literally the only character that seems to be removed from that little bit
Thank
of
God.
character arc that they love
Bless
to
you.
do for women. Is they start out as really strong and powerful, like you say, with Joy and with Colleen, and then they turn them into the victim, and it's like we don't want to
need
see that, and that doesn't make sense here. Certainly not with Colleen Wing.
Yeah.
Well, let's be real. Ward was a very interesting victim, and he's been a
Yeah,
victim
yeah,
from
sure.
the start. He's been terrible, but he's also very much been a victim for years on end. And it was interesting watching it happen with him because there was a narrative in place for that.
And it made total sense. Whereas with Joy, it really doesn't. She
No.
has been the stronger one. They even have that conversation. So why flip the switch there?
I don't know. It's the episode 6 U-turn. But yeah, we have Colleen choosing to be loyal to the death, trying to get antibiotics for Danny, getting turned in,
Right.
and going willingly, which for me was just like, are we serious here? Are we serious? Okay, we're serious here. And it takes her until she's strapped in a chair in a basement with cages and horrifying medical equipment.
I didn't
And
get this. I
Bakuto
was like,
basically
what?
telling her, at least in your death, you'll still be serving the hand, for her to realize, oh, they really don't care about me. Like, girl, you're smarter than that. I get that you've been indoctrinated into this cult, but holy cow, you are smarter than that. So then she fights her way out and beats up her students and leaves, and we have this nice little moment of
Yes.
her and Danny and Davos realizing, oh, that's why you want to stay on Earth.
Yeah.
This person. No other reason.
I mean,
just her.
I think they should have also played up more of his being pulled into two worlds. Like, you are the
Yes.
defender of Cologne. You have to do that's who you are now. But he's like, no, and like Claire had that great scene with him. Like, no, he's realizing what his purpose is here. That's a dynamic that we should have seen so much more of, because Danny never, first half of the season, was never fighting with that struggle. He's like, no, I'm the Iron Fist. I got to be here. This is my job. And it's like,
Yeah, it would have been really
What's going on?
amazing
But,
to
like-
feel that guilt trip of having
Yeah.
left your post. I mean, especially juxtaposed to that opening scene where he is just skipping down the street, oblivious, just happy to be back.
yeah, I want to get my job. I want to get my office, and I want to get a
Yeah,
suit
that
on. I'm
that
like,
hits so much harder if in the next scene he's in the park thinking about Kunlun and like, are people safe there? Is it okay? I abandoned my post. No one is there to protect my city. I don't get a protector feel from him at all,
Yeah.
because he always seems to be out for himself.
Yeah, and it's like, you grew up 15 years in Kunlun. That's your family. I would think, he treats Davos almost kind of like a brother a lot. So it's like, you have no one really left on Earth, like except the Wards, or
Meachams.
Meachams. So it's just like, who are you? 3-4 people? But that's your family that you're now the guardian of. That's your job.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is he spent more time in Kunlun
Right.
in his life. And yeah, it made no sense why he came back and why you're saying, oh, I've got to claim back my life. It's like, that really wasn't your life. You left when you were 8.
Yeah. So
And
I
I-
do like that we got that bit of conversation with him talking about, I wanted to be the Iron Fist because I thought it would fix what was broken inside of me, and it didn't. And I'm like, for a character trait, that makes sense. Why the hell did everyone else decide that you needed to be the Iron Fist over the guy that has lived there for his entire life, is 8,000% gung-ho for your traditions,
Yeah.
and really super wants to just guard the past for the rest of his days.
and that's why-
Why did you think Danny would be the better
There should have
choice
been a
for
massive
this?
fight between
Explain.
him and Davos.
Yes.
Like, dude, look what you're doing. Look, you're sitting in a dojo pining over some girl. You took this away from me. I wanted this job. There should have been a
got
massive
that.
fight with them. Did we? Like,
No,
I
their
mean, like
fight
a,
was
like I mean,
so
like a brotherly
tame.
just.
Like I needed that thing to
bashing
come
each
to
other.
blows. Like, because
Blood.
not only did you steal the thing that Davos wanted most, but then you left the city unprotected, and that's literally the only thing
Yeah.
they're about is just protect the city. Period. Full stop. And especially because Davos is clearly a little bit jealous of Colleen. Not that he wants to be
Yeah.
with Danny romantically, but just like you have his attention and his respect. And if Danny is the Iron Fist, then I think that Davos kind of admires that. As much as he hates that he got the job, I think he would also admire him for having overcome a lot to get the position. I don't get any of that kind of contentment or anger or even a feeling of rejection from Davos. It's just not there to play off of. It's just not written within the script, and it's frustrating because that's good conflict.
Huh?
See, I disagree. I feel like it's there. I'm with you on the we don't get nearly enough of it. There's a lot of things that we don't get nearly enough of in this series. And honestly, if we were going to do this, Davos should have shown up a few episodes earlier. And
Yeah.
we should have had him for a chunk of time.
He
Agree with
should
that,
still
sure.
have been making tinfoil ninja stars and chucking them at a sad person's head because that was
God.
amazing. But
Oh
just
my God,
earlier.
yes. Yeah, just earlier in the season.
Yeah, because having the conflict of, you know, your family back in Kunlun and your family here would have been way more interesting than some of the other stuff. And, like, Habit brings up the great line from Davos that Danny is the worst Iron Fist ever. He's got room to grow. It's like, you're telling me. And they bring up the fact that, I mean, he did only have, you know... you can only get out of the realm every 15 years, so this was his one chance. I mean, not really. I mean, Danny's not an older guy. And two... I mean, when you've spent the last 15 years on Kunlun, like, why are you wanting to go back to... I mean, that they never really explained a good reason for him to want to go back.
I mean, am I wrong in the fact that how are they gonna get back?
Yeah.
If it's every 15 years, it's closed. He can't go back for.
The gate...
It's only been like a week or two.
Yeah, the
so
gate
what-
remains open for a bit. There's some
Okay, so
travel
that's what they're
time.
doing with the gate.
Yeah,
which
yeah,
we
yeah.
should be seeing, or should have seen, or Davos come through it.
It would
so
have
we
been
know
really nice
something about this.
in these shots we have of the mountains. If we
Yeah.
could see like the path
Yes.
closing slowly, so that we
Yes.
know time is running out.
Let us know. There's the conflict is there that there's this clock.
That ticking time bomb, yeah, absolutely. And to your point about needing a reason to come back, I get a very small subtext feeling of like, oh, well, it's my name and it's my dad's company and I should come back to run it because I abandoned the family that I had and the responsibilities I had back there. That establishes a pattern of running from responsibility, or at least feeling like you like having an imposter syndrome, like you didn't live up to expectations, and that would have worked. But we don't even get like, it's just kind of that opening commercial where Danny's like, "Oh, Dad," and then that's it. We don't get any more of like, this was my responsibility.
Yeah.
In the same way that we maybe with like Bruce and his parents with Gotham, like, we built this city and it's our job to protect it and make it better. We understand why Batman can't leave Gotham. He's been given a responsibility. It doesn't feel like he's been given any responsibility to the company. He has no idea what he wants to do with the company. He's just like, yeah, I'll send a board meeting. Oh, we sell drugs too high? We should probably not do that. Like, there's just no
Right.
focus.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in the comics, he goes there because he knows the Meachams are running it into the ground, and it's to get it away from them. And, you know, it makes a lot more sense. But they didn't even go that route. They went with Danny had no idea that they were there and running it.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
they're
like,
running it
you know,
well.
and-
It's a
yeah.
well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
Well, I got less of a I need to go back to the company, it's my responsibility, and more of a I never got over this trauma 15 years ago because they beat the emotions out of me and I never dealt with them, etc., etc.
Right,
And that
yeah.
really hit with me for I thought the Iron Fist would fix me. I was wrong. Well, if that's not going to fix what's wrong with him, maybe he needs to go back home and go back to the people who were his family and are still alive. I mean, he goes right to Rand. He thinks that Harold will be there, and Harold was a second father to him. He thinks that Ward and Joy will welcome him with open arms, and they were brother and sister to him. Like,
Right.
he goes back to this family. What I'm getting from this is in the hope of finally dealing with this awful, awful thing that happened to him and maybe moving on from there. He's looking to be fixed. Becoming the Iron Fist didn't do it. Maybe going back home and dealing with it will.
Yeah, maybe he was listening to like Dr. Drew podcast or something up on It's just like, oh man, I really need to deal with these traumas.
I am mining for subtext because there is no text. That is what I'm doing. I am digging deep. I am an English major. I have an English degree. I've been trained for this for 15 years.
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah. So there's questions about his motivation. There's been a lot of questions just about the writing. Straight up, let's be real.
And Havoc says you were making some good points here, Katie.
Thank you.
There you go.
Yeah.
I
So now
tried.
you're validated.
You're validated.
I used the text to support my points, and at the end of this, you'll have my conclusion paragraph in which I told you what I was going to tell you. Yeah. So we also have this wonderful, wonderful fight with Colleen taking out Bakuto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like beating him in a fight, and straight
That's
up,
great.
it's
Good-
not
great fight.
how strong the weapon is, it's how you use it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I like that
Thank
it
you.
showed her.
Back to the dick jokes.
Yeah. I love how it showed her true strength where she didn't kill him.
Yeah.
And that was the thing, is that sort of me, for me at least, redeemed her character in some way from all that, is like she had that inner strength, because I would have straight up murdered him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's time for you to die. You're like misusing my students. I work so hard to get them on a good path and into a good school, and you're just abusing them, and it's awful. This fight was dope.
Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, hey, I know that park. Very cool. I like the openness of it, and I like that we didn't have to cut 58 times in 38 seconds to make it look good. It just
Yeah, no
was a
kidding.
good fight.
Well, and I did like at the end of it the discussion over should we kill him, should we not kill him, and Davos just being like, we kill the hand
Yeah.
and taking care of it. And I loved just that moral struggle between the three of them, the person who was connected to Bakuto, the person who was raised one way that believes another, and the person who is completely entrenched in the beliefs that he was raised in. Like, that's an interesting conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Agreed.
And then Bakuto just disappears because the hand!
I was like, what?
You got to keep an eye on those bodies. You can't look away.
And that's why I was just like, can you guys please not just fist fight right now? Because it feels a lot like a distraction. All right, there we go. Davos is our jilted lover, and we're missing a body, so life is great.
Is this a Lifetime movie now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
If
always
someone
been a
gets
Lifetime
pregnant,
movie.
it's going to be a super Lifetime movie.
Yeah.
It's always been a Lifetime movie. It's been 12 Lifetime movies. Be
Yeah.
real. And then, yeah, at the end of this, we have awkward hospital scenes and the dojo getting raided by the DEA.
I was like, what the hell's going on?
Dude,
Although
no,
I
I
will say, it
feel
gave
like-
Danny a badass kick. Like when he came out of that room and like spun in the air and kicked the guy in the chest. It's like that's what we should have been seeing from Danny from the beginning.
Yeah.
that just
Yeah, that was a good one.
massive. Like he was probably
Thanks,
on a wire
stuntman.
doing that. He might not have been on a wire. That might have been a stunt guy that just could have tricked really well. But that's what should have been. And they're hiding his his stunt double really well. Which the first couple episodes they either weren't using it or weren't hiding it well. But now it's like hey, it looks great now.
I'm sure they became more prepared as time went on and be like, okay, these fight scenes aren't looking the best.
Yeah, that's
Why
true.
don't we create some more shadows
Yeah.
and
I'm
get to
missing
this.
half of the note from our current producer, but I saw a handsome pun in there, and I really like that. The notepad's too low. We can't see it.
We love we love the hand
Maybe they're
puns.
embarrassed with their
Bless.
joke. It's like, oh, maybe not. There it is.
Was it a handsome
Handsome
fight?
fight.
Ah, so nice.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, so I think that covers most of this. Before we swing into iTunes and predictions, do we have any final thoughts on these episodes? I'm
Hoping for a
I-
great finale.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one episode, so I don't know where it's gonna go. You said you saw a spoiler in something on a review, so I don't know
that's
what's
what we're
going
getting
on.
to.
Okay, I don't know what they're gonna do.
I'm hoping we'll wrap
So
up
you
some
said-
of the loose ends.
So you said the Han and Gao is the Defenders' big
Yes.
bad.
Yes.
So
That was
are we
in
dealing with
the
Midland
teaser
Circle?
trailer.
Midland Circle, the big hole with the hand, because that's got to be that has not been dealt with yet,
No, it hasn't. So that might come in as well. Again, we don't know.
and we don't know what Sigourney Weaver is.
Yeah.
I'm
But
just
that
hoping
is-
for
that's
like a
predictions.
Please don't let her be like some other faction of the hand.
That's,
Like,
that's what I'm worried
That's
about.
predictions
Ugh.
territory.
5
We
factions
are
of the
almost
hand.
there.
A finger.
All right, well, let's swing it. Don't do it. It's a spoiler.
Ooh.
I'm not
I
reading
was
it.
going to say, we are swinging
No,
into
don't tell me. I don't-
iTunes reviews.
Yeah.
We have one new review, and I'm not going to read the name because I don't want to call you out, and I'm not going to read the review because it's a spoiler for the finale. So I'm torn because I'm a little mad that I got spoiled, but I want to thank you for taking the time to go and rate us 5 stars and leave a review. Like,
So you get a pass.
And see, Katie
Yeah,
just
give her a
saved me from
pass.
seeing it.
Yeah.
Maybe she
Yeah.
maybe she was just thinking it's the whole episode. Everything's all of these episodes are already aired, so she
yeah,
didn't
but
know that
we
there was-
still haven't seen the finale, y'all. So yeah,
Okay.
thank you to everyone who has gone on to iTunes, who has left us a review, who has rated us 5 stars. Thank you. When you do that, for one, you let our producers know that you like this after show and you keep us on the air. And for another, when you rate us 5 stars, it brings our after show higher in the search rank. So if someone searches for Iron Fist, it's easier to find us. This is a point where we normally give you a shout out and read the review, but again, spoilers.
Yeah.
So thanks. Yay. I will appreciate it more next week, I'm sure. But yeah, please go on to iTunes. Please rate, comment, subscribe. Life will be great. If you leave a review on an iTunes store that is not the American iTunes store or on the podcast feature of Google Play, please screen cap it and put it in the hashtag. Again, that is EBTV Iron Fist. We love seeing those. They're just a little more difficult for us to find. So, predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV prediction.
I just want to see Electra's casket. That's my only prediction.
Ah.
Is that we need to see it? I want to see what's happening with it. Is she coming out of it? What's going on? I have questions.
I've heard rumors that Claire becomes White Tiger.
Yeah.
I don't
saw
know
her
if that's just
fighting with those
stupid because of the
claws.
claws, and that has nothing really to do with White Tiger. It's more the amulet stuff.
I'm
but
down
we
with
talk
her. I
about
thought that she was
Claire.
night nurse.
Well, I think they
Yeah, she
debunked
is.
that kind of early on, just
Yeah.
because they took two characters. They took the Claire Temple and the fact that she's a nurse, and kind of married them. I think the original night nurse is Diana Prince.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
made it because it's Wonder Woman. I was like, Wonder Woman? They use the same name, really?
weird, yeah.
But yeah, so I think they took kind of like two and amalgamized her. But speaking of Claire, so she just announced she's not in Punisher.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get into.
And someone have said that now she dies in Defenders. And I hope that's just
Nope.
speculation because she's not in there. But if you kill her off,
No.
that is the best character overall, pretty much. She is the glue.
that holds
Do not.
everyone together. And
Marvel
that's what
cannot
If they
go a
kill
series
her
without
off-
killing a black person.
If they kill her off,
They can't.
Yeah.
I may be done because that is.
I love Claire.
She
Don't
is so
hurt her.
good.
And
She
that's what-
elevates every scene she's in.
Yeah, and that's what we've been speculating for a while, and especially when I saw that Punisher news, because as you guys know, I follow that daily. But yeah, like I was like, crap, this means that these predictions I've been making are right, and a lot of the chat was saying the same thing, that's what brings the Defenders together.
Because they all
everybody
do know
loves
her.
Claire.
Don't do this
At
to
the
Luke.
moment,
It's like,
at
no,
the
no, no.
moment, I refuse to borrow trouble like that. We'll see.
no.
I refuse to.
Yes.
I will happily speculate. Oh yeah, they're gonna die. But usually that's like
Okay, so-
someone is in a terrible cliffhanger situation, and then we don't see them for the
So
rest of the
Defenders
season.
is filming, or Defenders airs this summer.
Yes.
And didn't they just say Luke Cage is getting ready to shoot?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so
we-
maybe if we know she's in that, we hear that she's been seen on set, maybe we'll be in the clear.
I doubt that they'll
Maybe.
give us any press releases for that just to make those.
Not press releases, but those people on set. Like
Yeah.
they saw Matt or Charlie in his Daredevil outfit on the set of Defenders, and they
Yeah.
snapped those from the street. So maybe we'll see her on set, hopefully.
Oh, Jesus.
I really don't want that to come
Here's
true.
the other
Here's
thing
something.
is that Claire Temple might not want to help the Punisher, whereas a lot of her superhero buddies are like, "Look, I'm out for good. I'm not trying to hurt
and they've also
anybody."
and they're bringing Karen Page in, so
Yeah.
that's kind of another female
Yeah.
that's with this
Yeah.
universe that's
Yeah.
As a
more story wise would
Also-
fit.
Also, Punisher is much more of a lone wolf. I'm sure that the last thing he's doing is like crawling into Claire's apartment late at night trying to get
yeah.
stitched up.
And
he's
he'll
probably
have
he's a
micro-
soldier.
He just
Like,
pours whiskey
a
on
liquor
it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'll stitch myself up.
All right,
He's
good
just a
point.
real
I'm
man.
going with
Okay.
that.
I'm hoping.
Do
Yeah,
we
I'm
have
hoping.
predictions for next episode?
I have no clue what's gonna happen.
Yeah, that's the
back
thing.
Alexa. I
have no
it seemed
idea.
I
definitive
think-
up until the last minute.
I think the DEA
What is that?
is a result of it's the Drug Enforcement
Well, no, I know
Administration.
that. I know that.
Just making sure.
I thought you meant
I
what does this have to
think-
do with? Like, is it the drugs?
I
thing?
think it's a result of Madame Gao and the heroin
Heroin?
thing.
Yeah.
We already know that Harold got heroin planted in Ward's car in order to throw him into the mental hospital. So I wouldn't be surprised if he pulled on some same connection and then put Danny's name on it, especially since we have all of Gao's accounts working through Rand and they knew about the 13th floor and those conference rooms, and that tablet has Danny's prints all over it.
This seems like the way that they got Al Capone. You've got this big bad guy. It could have had this giant shootout with gangsters and the police, and now we're going to get him on tax evasion.
Yeah.
We've got the ninjas. We've got the Iron Fists, Kunlun, everything. And we're going to get down to, we're going to break it up because of he's dealing drugs. It's like, come on.
But Harold is the one setting this up, and Harold is not on the level of going to throw down with the ninjas and the Iron Fist. But hell if he ain't a savvy businessman. So he is doing what he can, and it is sometimes the little things that trip you up. So that's my prediction for that.
So what's he
is
gonna end
him
up,
pulling
you
on the
think
heroin
Danny's
side
just
of
going to end up in
things.
prison at the end?
Oh no.
Okay.
No.
On the run?
I think that's the reason that the DEA is there in the first place
Okay.
and that they've been called, because Harold has tied Danny to this heroin epidemic.
Okay.
Like, I think that's the reason they're there. I think this is also going to be our setup for the Defenders. I think
So
we're
you think
going
the
to
end will
get.
be a big...
I think we're
Okay.
getting Gao taking over Bakuto's branch of operations in addition to her own. So that's going to make them. That's going to make the Hand twice as terrifying because they have the surveillance, because they have all of these people feeding into them, and because they have all of these agents out in various businesses in New York and probably
So-
nationwide and globally.
Okay. The only reason I'm curious because the show's been out, what, a month now?
St.
And
Patrick's
I've
Day,
not
so a
been
little over a
spoiled
month.
by any major thing that's happened in this final episode. There was no big reveal of Daredevil showing up on his doorstep, helping him out, or Claire or something. There's not any of that. I have a feeling it's going to be very anticlimactic.
Yeah, I think so
yeah.
too. Because to me, I typically get spoilers if there's something
That's what I'm
big.
saying.
Because people
Yeah.
will tweet you.
Right,
you know,
right,
what do
right.
you think?
And nothing's come out.
Or you'll accidentally see something.
Yeah.
But nothing's that big a deal.
There's
obviously.
been no,
Yeah.
like, this happened.
So I think this is mostly going to be consolidating Madame Gao's power, making her more of a threat,
Okay.
so that way when we move into Defenders, we have her in place.
So do you think then their goal with this whole show then from the beginning is like all of our other ones, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, we can stand alone. Yes, you'll get hints of what's to come, but since Danny is Iron Fist is leading right up to Defenders, we're going to use this as our shoehorn into it.
I legitimately think that this show, they were just checking off a box. Iron Fist is in the Defenders. We need to make an Iron Fist show.
Okay.
As opposed to, we're going to make Luke Cage. We're going to make Jessica Jones. It was, we need to make Iron Fist. It's the vegetables you eat before you can have the cake.
I honestly think that what happened with Iron Fist is that they were like, okay, well, we don't have the budget to do the magic that Iron Fist is known for.
Right.
Which is totally fair. And they were trying to figure out how to tell a really good superhero story that wasn't going to be so ninja-centered like Daredevil was. It couldn't be what Jessica Jones was, and it
Yeah.
absolutely couldn't be what Luke Cage was. And they got muddled down in trying to figure out. They're like, oh, well, it'll be a business espionage thing. And that'll be a great way to bring in the Hand because I love business espionage shows.
Oh
Like,
my God,
I like when
yes.
things are getting traded in the back.
espionage.
It's
It was the
amazing. If
best
you watch
part of
Incorporated
the
on
show.
Sci-Fi, it was everything for me. I love like backhand money exchanges. I love watching bosses like take down other bosses.
Anyway,
That's
we're
very-
short
And
on
we didn't
time.
focus on that much, but I think that's what happened. I don't think they set out to do. I don't believe they just checked the box. I just think that they didn't execute this one correctly.
Okay. I will say, closing up for myself, the costume designer from the very beginning, and the show talked about a showrunner saying, you know what, we're not doing the costume because it just would not fit with our story. And seeing now up to 13, or up to 12, yeah, there were a couple times where he could have pulled the mask on to kind of cover himself, but that full-on costume would not have worked in this show with what they're doing. So I have to side with them. They, the story they wanted to tell, it would have looked ridiculous putting the costume on.
They snuck
But
it
I
in.
They could
feel
have used
like-
the yellow
Footage.
bandana many,
Yeah.
many times.
Oh,
But
yeah.
if you have a costumed hero and you think that you're telling a story where the costume doesn't fit, that's a problem with your story.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to backpedal and give some good credit to the
Yeah.
storytelling that they set to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's missed opportunities many times with the mask, many times. But I
Yeah.
digress.
You don't put frosting on a burger, but really you should have had a cupcake in the first place. Come on.
Good analogy. I like that.
Sugar Factory puts,
Yeah.
candy
Yeah,
in
all right.
butter.
Yeah,
Now
but
I'm
Sugar
concerned.
Factory can do whatever they want.
They are the sugar factory.
Yeah,
They
they're
are the Sugar
amazing.
Factory. Final thoughts before we head out, Lacretia?
I'm trying to keep an open mind. I hope something happens that makes this kind of worthwhile and a good setup for the Defenders. But yeah,
For me, that sword fight made it worthwhile.
Okay.
yeah,
Let's be
it was
real.
good.
I
All
wanna
right.
push. Yeah, let's do it. Let's push for
All
Claire
right.
Temple to get some powers next episode.
Yeah.
White Tiger, and then if she dies because she's White Tiger,
Yeah.
because she wasn't experienced, I'll buy into that more. But don't you kill her just because she's a nurse.
Oh my God, if we go a Laurel Black Canary on this,
No,
I'm gonna kill
God, no.
someone.
Oh, God, no. No, God, no.
And I like Laurel and I like Black Canary, but the show did not do right by her.
No.
And I fully
No, they
expect
didn't.
them to do right by Claire, or there will be problems.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Mike, where can
Yes.
the people find you?
Guys, find me at Mike Kalinowski. Twitter, Instagram, all over.
Hey guys, I'm Joelle Monique. You can find me all over the internet at Joelle Monique and every week at blackgirlnerds.com. If you head over to blackgirlnerds.com right now, you can take my review for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and join me Wednesday on Schmoes Know.
Hey guys, since I'm Lacretia Lyon, you can always find me at LACRETIALYON anywhere on the internet, since there is only one.
And I'm Katie Cullen. You can find me all over the social medias and on YouTube at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. A lot of my shows are returning and a lot of my shows are ending. Arrow is back tomorrow night. Robots in Disguise is back. We start Tuesdays at 7 p.m. So next week, after the season finale of this show, Attack on Titan is back. That's 8 p.m. on Monday. And Jack, as always, is 8 p.m. on Sunday nights. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next week for the finale.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.